stories that connect us to ourselves and each other. These stories reveal who we are and show us the many vivid, wild colors of our truth. Welcome to Soul Wanderings, where we raise spiritual awareness and foster connections through these shared stories and personal experiences. And now, exclusively on KGRA Radio, I give you your host for Soul Wanderings Radio. Here's AJ.
Hello, happy day, friend. It is Soul Wanderings night, where we receive an opportunity to hear journey stories from humans from all walks of life, all types of experiences. And these humans show up to share authentic pieces of themselves with all of us. Hello, I am AJ Rasmussen, your host. Happy to be here with you once again. We all know this is my most favorite day of the week. I love spending time with you. And it's a special night. It's our once a month visit from our beloved Misty Merck. We get to hang out with her each month. Phone lines are open and ready just after the first break for intuitive readings with Misty Rose. She receives her information spiritually and intuitively, and the information she receives is through thoughts, feelings, emotions, pictures, images, and angels. Soul messages are waiting for you, and you'll receive those messages when you call in this evening. Just some words of advice before you call in. Have an open heart. Have an open mind. Misty definitely does her best work when she can connect with you, when you're in a space where you are ready to receive. Some call in with questions, but as I always share every month, my favorite way to receive messages is having her read my energy in the space that I'm currently in, like where I'm at right now. It's really neat to be able to hear things from the place in which she gathers her messages. I also feel she's able to share more that way, and it leaves me in a place that I have no expectations of an answer, just open to hearing what is meant for me. So, my friends, be open and call in tonight. And when you get through, enjoy the time you have with her. It's a special time. If you decide not to call in, I hope you still stick around. I always adore hearing messages from where I sit. I learn something new each and every time. And oftentimes I find myself relating to the messages that are shared for others. They relate and resonate with myself. So wonders if you decide to call in, the number you'll be calling in to receive that gifted mini reading with Misty is 85KGRA Live. So that's 855-472-5483. You can also find that number directly on kgraradio.com if you missed it. And of course, I'll repeat it throughout the show. Remember, when we open up the phone lines, we'll be doing that just after the first break. But until then, we get to hang out. You and me, Misty. Welcome back.
Yay!
Yay is
Thank
right.
You. Yeah. Yay. It's always yay. I love doing this. It always is over way too soon.
It always goes by fast. I feel that way with every show, and we say that probably every week, but especially with you. And I love when people call in, especially right now, because, I mean, we've talked about this in past months because this has been a thing this year that just the weight of the world is really heavy right now. Energetically, it's like worldwide, the whole pandemic and all the politics, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to get into, but either way, it's really neat to have you here because it gives us different insight and a new perspective with the things that you come to share with us.
Thank you. I try to have a different perspective, especially when I am in such disagreement with what I see. I've lived as a glass is half empty kind of person, but my soul is really a glass is half full. And I've, over the years, gotten more and more in alignment with who I really am, what my soul is really about. And so as I see things going on in the world that I would love to see shift and change, I recognize that it's the ability of being able to see things from different perspectives that can help me stay in the right kind of vibration, so that I am more open and receptive to inspiration and taking action on things that can help create that change we want to see.
Yes.
Definitely.
That vibration right there. It feels good. And I feel like people right now are looking for that. They're looking for that type of feeling, that hope, and that place where we can all really come together.
You know, something I've said a lot and probably said it here many times as well. Separation is an illusion. And let's face it, we were really living at a point where we were becoming very separated. And that's grown in intensity the last couple of months as well. But it was before, it was self-choosing, self-isolation. Now the isolation is enforced,
right?
And so it's reaching ahead, I guess, and it's showing people. You know, we were okay with a lot of things that were just not okay, and we're starting to see that those things amplify to show us very clearly, so that we can't ignore it or deny it anymore, that those things aren't working and it's not okay.
Right.
I mean, just as an example, the suicide rate alone has exponentially increased. And that was something that was already on the rise and wasn't okay. And not only was it on the rise, it was spreading to younger and younger people. And since the last couple of months, with the experiences we've been having, it's grown. It's been growing among all races, all sexes, and all ages. Very young children who are committing suicide. And I think sometimes we need something to be very blaring in our face for us to come to some sometimes difficult truths, so that we become willing to commit to creating change. You know, one of the things that I teach people is to try and look at emotions from a non-judgmental place. A lot of people resist feeling anger. We label it and blame anger for so many negative things. And what I try to encourage people is anger isn't a problem. It's what we're choosing to do while we feel angry. But the reality is a lot of people who are feeling love will make some very foolish choices. But love's not getting a bad rap. It's got its own holiday. You know, Chris, it's got cards and candy and flowers and all kinds of things.
Ridiculous holiday, yes.
But, you know, the thing about anger is, how many times has anger, outrage at an injustice, motivated and created positive, lasting change? How many times has anger motivated somebody past their fears, through their pain? So, you know, it's about being able to view things from, a unbiased, unjudgmental place of witness. How is this serving me? And then what do I want to do about it?
Yeah. Good questions to ask ourselves right now.
Yeah, these times have brought up a lot of emotions. And it's not just the experiences. It's the energetic, planetary shifts
going
There's
on
a lot
in the
of
world.
things
Going on right now, all at once. All at once. I found myself getting infuriated. And I think that may even be an understatement. And that's a lot coming from me because I generally stay pretty even keel. I can keep my emotions pretty low and not get heated over very much. But, the last couple weeks, just, we all have very strong opinions right now.
Mm-hmm.
And mine definitely got to a place of being in fear of what our future is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been a daily practice to remind myself to be here right now, because obviously we have no control over what is to come.
Nope.
That's been shown.
Yep.
Our voices have been muted with masks or whatever else that looks like. And it's scary. It really is scary. And those questions that you mentioned earlier, just really connecting with ourselves and how is this going to serve me? And how can I, be more present in the now, are so important to our experience with everything that is going on energetically and otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things that I've become very clear on recently, something that I've already known, but have just understood it in an even deeper way now, is, it can be very difficult and feel very hard to not be swayed and pulled in every direction that your emotions are running or flowing or washing you towards.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I'm understanding is, when I look at things as separate and I look at them and me, or us and them, or I look at the world as I have no control over anything, or the different kind of perspectives that we humans generally tend to live from.
Mm-hmm.
When I am in that energy, a lot of fear does come up. And at times I feel very helpless and very hopeless. And then you start to become angry because we don't want to feel so afraid, and we don't want to feel so impotent and unable. We don't want to feel so bound. And one of the things that I'm coming to realize, I believe in a higher power. I don't care what name anybody wants to call their higher power, but I firmly believe and encourage all people to have something they believe in greater than themselves, for the ability to gain perspective, because that can create the shifts to move us out of fear. And when we look to our leaders, when we look to our community, when we look to our country, when we look to the world as our source of safety, as our source of resources, as our source of anything, that puts everything outside of ourselves. That puts our power outside of ourselves. And it's a very helpless, hopeless, impotent, and terrifying place. But when we can redefine our perspective, redefine our experience from source, the universe, creator, great spirit, God, Krishna, Buddha, Christ, whatever your word is for that, the sun, the moon, the stars, it doesn't matter. But when you have the understanding that it is your connection to source, and source is the source of everything for you, that's an internal relationship. That's an internal dialogue. That puts your power inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I've been in 9 car accidents. If things were in my control, I wouldn't have been in any one of them. So external things can always have an influence and an effect on us in ways that we do not desire. However, those are experiences. The other things, thoughts, feelings, emotions, perspectives, beliefs, that's where we have complete control and an ability to view the experiences, not as in this is happening to me, but rather What opportunity is this trying to create? How is this happening for me? How is this shifting things in a way that I become empowered?
Yes.
Now, it's hard to sit and go, how does a car accident do that? But I'll tell you, one of the car accidents I was in, I went into a little bit of, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Because quite frankly, I was driving without insurance. And, how am I going to pay for this? How am I going to, protect my driver's license and all this other stuff? And that car accident led me to a series of experiences that unfolded in me getting an amazing job with, entry-level skills. I got an amazing job, got an amazing apartment, got an amazing car. I mean, it was like boom, boom, boom. Blessing, blessing, blessing. Just from that car accident. Yeah, exactly. We can hear you.
Oh, man, I was talking and my mute was on. Whoops.
Uh-oh. That's live radio for you, folks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only human. But
Yeah.
I was just saying, it's the things that happen to us that are good, bad, or indifferent. You just never know what it's going to lead us to.
Yeah.
Which is really neat, because in the moment, it's like really scary and, oh no, what happened? Or my life is over, or I'll never recover, or whatever that experience looks like.
Yeah.
But when we are on the other side of that, what happens for us? It's really neat. Just like when I talk about past experiences with any of us, how many of us have gone something where we're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to make it through this. This is like devastating, life altering. I will never feel normal again, whatever that is. I will never this, that, or the other. But then when we heal through that experience and we're on the other side of it, we're so thankful, like, wow, if I wouldn't have gone through that, then I wouldn't be here having this.
Yeah. There's two stories, one fictional, one nonfiction, that really kind of put a lot of perspective and value for me in how I want to move forward in my life and through these experiences that are happening right now. One is, it's The Life of Pi. And I probably have talked about this before here, but it's just that powerful. At the beginning of the story, the journalist walks up to a man, says, your uncle tells me you can tell me a story that will make me believe in God. And he looks at the journalist, this man, and he says, I can tell you a story, but whether or not you believe in God, that's up to you. And then he relates a story about his family's zoo and being on a ship, a cargo ship, to take the animals to sell them. The ship sinking. He's left alone, survivor, with a tiger on a boat. And then eventually, through their adventures, they make it to shore, and the tiger takes off, and he's rescued. At the hospital, the insurance company for the ship, they're asking him, how did the ship sink? What happened? Can you explain this? And he tells them a story about the tiger. And they're like, this is too fanciful. And so the guy says, you want a story that's believable? And the insurance guy's like, yeah,
Of course.
of course. So he changes the dynamics of the story so that the animals become different people. And in the story, the tiger the hyena kills a zebra, and an orangutan, and a tiger kills the hyena. These now become people, and we're talking about people killing each other. And at the end of the movie and the end of the book, the gentleman looks at the journalist and says, in both stories, the ship sinks. I can't explain why. My family perishes. I alone survive. What makes for the better story? And after pondering, the journalist says, the one with the tiger. And the guy says, and so it is with God, meaning you're going through the experiences. Does it make for a better story, a better experience that you're suffering for no reason, that life is out to get you, that you're a victim? Or does it make for a better story, a better experience, that there is something out there that is invested in you in ways you can't comprehend, that has your best interest at heart, that's striving for you and seeking good for you? I firmly believe that you're going to go through the experience of your life one way or another. You can go through it suffering. You can go through it expanding. You can go through it being small. You can go through it growing tall. It's up to you. The other story that's been very impactful for me was a story from about this gentleman in World War II. He was an American soldier, and he was at a concentration camp that they had freed. And that part of their job was to figure out who these prisoners were and figure out who they are, get their identities, and from there try to figure out how to help them get back home. And he said there was a gentleman there, they called him Handlebar Willie, because he had handlebar mustache. And he spoke many languages. He was liked by everybody in the camp, which wasn't always common because even though they were all Jewish, they came from different countries, sometimes enemy countries, even though they shared the same religion. As far as a country and a personality and a way of being, they didn't all get along, but he got along with everybody. He was a lawyer, so he would help the soldiers. He would work with the people, help them. He would help interpret for them so that they could get people's names, where they came from, who their family was. And he said he was having a conversation with Handlebar Willie to learn and understand who he was. And he said he didn't think that Handlebar Willie had been in the concentration camp very long because he was of relatively good health. Now, if you've ever seen pictures, you know how devastating these camps were for people and their well-being. Well, it was in having this conversation that he was informed this gentleman had been there for years. Wow. For years. And he related this story about his experience. He said the Germans came to his town. They had lined everybody up, and they had segregated him from the townspeople, including his own family. And the reason is because he had the ability to speak many languages, and they wanted him to do that for them. Mm-hmm. And so he was held back while they killed all of the townspeople, even his own family members. Now, he had begged the Germans to allow him to be killed with his family, and they had refused. Now, he said this happened. He said, when they denied me the ability to be with my family and just die with them, he said, as a lawyer, I knew what hate did to people. I watched it all the time. So he said, I knew what hating the Germans for what they were doing would do to him. And he decided in that instance that he was not going to allow that to dictate how he felt and how he behaved. And it was that choice that had kept him in such good condition while he went through those experiences in the concentration camp.
Your mind is such a powerful tool. Once again. It's so incredible, right?
Yeah. Well,
wow,
in Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, he was in the concentration camps, and he said those who had purpose and a reason for living, those were the ones that were able to make it through the atrocities of the concentration camp. Yeah. He said those who had lost that eventually succumb to the circumstances they found themselves in and eventually died.
I have heard so many stories. I mean, we all have, of those who have successfully overcome experiences like that or similar to, because of the state of their minds.
Yeah. And
it's incredible.
I would say there are those who made it through, they survived. There are those who overcame. And there are those who, I would say, like Viktor Frankl, rose above.
Yes.
And if I'm going to be going through this experience anyway, I want to rise above. I don't want to be stuck in the muck and mire. I want to rise to higher ground so that I can make it through the experience in the way that's going to bring me the most joy and the most peace possible.
What an inspirational message for you to share with us, especially right now. Wow, so powerful, Misty. Thank you so much. You guys, we're going to take our first break. And like we said, right after the break, we're opening up the phone line so you can receive a gifted mini reading with our beloved Misty Rose Merck. To do that, you need to call 85KGRA-LIVE. That's 855-472-5483. Stay close. We'll be right back.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about Angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking Angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 945-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. That's 945-882-7221. Or go to the website angioprim.com.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied. But you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with, you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Permanent industrial glue impossible to remove? Not anymore, because Handyman Formula by D-Bond is a patented chemical adhesive remover. It's used in the building and home maintenance industry, but now it's available for your home use, for your DIY projects. Unglue stickers, silicone rubber, labels, price tags, flex tape, weather stripping, carpet glue, wood glue, liquid nails, even 3M 5200. And it dissolves graffiti. Yeah, graffiti. Handyman Formula by D-Bond works, and it's safe to use on most surfaces. No need to call a professional. Don't get out the pliers and blowtorch. Just apply a little Handyman Formula by D-Bond and wait 90 seconds, then quickly and easily pull the items apart. Get unstuck. Visit DBondHandymanFormula.com. That's DBondHandymanFormula.com, or call 561-575-4200. Handyman Formula by D-Bond.
Mainstream media's most wanted. KGRARadio.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Soul Wandering, heard here on KGRARadio.com. I am AJ Rasmussen, your host. And we are hanging out with our monthly guest, Misty Rose Merck. She's an intuitive reader who accepts phone calls from you, the listeners, to receive free gifted mini readings. And Misty receives the information spiritually and intuitively as information received through thoughts, feelings, emotions, pictures, images, and angels. And if you are interested in receiving one of these mini readings, you can call in. The number you'll want to call is 85KGRA Live. That's 855-472-5483. The phone lines are now open. And with that being said, Misty, we already have callers on hold. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, we'll bring our first caller on the air. Hello, Carol from California. Thank you for calling the show.
Oh, AJ and Misty, I can't think of anything I'd rather do.
Ah, Carol, hi.
Hello.
Thanks for calling in.
Well, as soon as I heard that Misty was going to give readings tonight, I thought, gee, I wonder if I have the courage to do that. And Bob's from chat room was saying, am I going to get a reading? So that convinced me, pushed me over the edge, past my reticence, and here I am.
Wonderful. I'll have you share a little bit after Misty shares with you because I don't want to give her any information about who you are.
Right,
she likes very little information as possible. So after that, we'll give you just a quick moment so we can share. I want everyone to know who you are. But in the meantime, do you have a question for Misty, or would you just like her to give you a reading on your energy right now?
Well, I'm inclined to actually do the latter.
Perfect. Hi, Carol. How are you?
Misty, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. I am actually from California. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, I'll be darned. Well, I'm in Southern California. I'm a native Californian. I didn't always live here, but I don't want to give you any information. I mean,
no, we're good.
Okay, good.
So, it's funny because in your voice, there's this really buoyant, effervescent, but your energy's feeling very heart heavy. Does this make sense?
It certainly does.
And, even though you're a solutions girl, as in you're always quick to, okay, we can get this done, we can figure it out. It feels like your mind's really heavy, racing with a lot of worry. Does this make sense?
It does.
And the other thing is, so I'm trying to kind of compartmentalize some things because there's so much trying to come through at once. So I've got to slow things down a little bit because your mind is so busy. So I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and just for a moment, take a deep breath. Okay. So, two things. There are some real matters going on in your head, meaning these are real world details that are causing you distress because you haven't solved them yet, correct?
That is correct.
The other thing is you've got a lot of unnecessary worry on your mind that's making it difficult for you to see those answers. Now, if you sat down, because this is something that you strive not to do, is to give in to your worry. But what's happening is there's so much worry on your plate, your resistance is causing persistence. Does this make sense?
Oh, yes.
So if we could just get you to sit down and evaluate things, not so that you get stuck in it, but so that you can understand what you're capable of letting go of. From that place, you actually have some answers to the things that are weighing on your mind and your heart that are relatively easy to receive, as in the solutions are within the sphere of your influence and physical reach, meaning, it's like you're looking for your keys and you're looking everywhere, but because of the stress, you didn't notice that they were right in front of your face, kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm following that. Definitely. You're really good.
There's solutions to a degree right in front of your face, but it's not so easy to see because you're being distracted or blinded by these kind of unreal fears. Does this make sense?
Fears. Mm-hmm. I'm following this. Yes. And yes.
There's a technique that I teach people called a dump and burn. And what it's designed to do is to help get the muck up and out. We don't want you to get stuck in the muck because human beings like to ruminate on things. So we use a thing like a timer. That could be an actual kitchen timer or a cell phone or an alarm. It doesn't matter. You set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes. You get a pencil, pen, and a piece of paper. And then you set the timer and you write. And you just focus on that energy, the emotion, the stress, all those things that you feel are weighing you down and causing you to feel overwhelmed, because those are the two specific words that I hear.
Okay.
And then, because it's causing this pressure to the point that there feels like there's physical pain in your back. Does that make sense?
Here you are, really good.
So just sit down, focus on that pain in your back, the sense of feeling overwhelmed and pressured, and then just write. And then you're not censoring, you're not judging, you're not correcting what you write, because this isn't about making things look pretty. It's about getting the ugly out. And then when the timer goes off, you stop because you don't want to ruminate in things.
Okay.
Does this make sense?
Yes.
Now, what you're looking at on that paper when you're done writing, consider this to be the equivalent of emotional vomit, emotional and mental vomit. You don't reread it. You don't let anybody else read it. That's why it's called a dump and burn, because you're going to destroy it. So depending on the amount of emotion that comes up for you, if it's mild, you can rip, tear, or shred this paper. It will be effective. The bigger the emotion, the more impactful is to burn it. It has a totally different effect on the psyche. That's why so many cultures, religions, and peoples have traditional ceremonies that include burning. Is this making sense?
Yes, it is.
Once you've done that, energetically speaking, you've cleaned out a closet, so to speak, inside of yourself. And energy fills voids. So what you're going to follow up with is a gratitude journal. So this is something you keep. You set a timer, 5-10 minutes. You can write all day if you want to, but minimum is 5 minutes, because what you're doing is you're setting the energy of the space you just cleaned out. That's like having that part of the counter that's always full of clutter. When you clean it, the clutter comes back. But if you were to repurpose that space, decorate it with things, it's less likely for that clutter to go back to that spot because there's no room for it. Something else is already existing there. So when there's a lot of coaches and trainings out there that teach people to clear out the inner garbage. But one of the things they neglect to follow up with is repurposing that space. Because even though you clear stuff out of it, it's still resonating at the frequency of what used to be there. And you're more likely to draw more of that back into that empty space. So if you change the frequency of that space, now you can start drawing to you things you do want to be there. Does this make sense?
Oh, indeed.
So I would say, because even though you're a very emotional, caring person, you're also a very logic-based person. You love organization, and you love having to-do lists and things like that. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does. In fact, over this last 2 days, I did a juxtaposition of my workspace, and it has just been everything that I expected it to be.
So what this process does is it's going to give your brain the opportunity to be heard and validated. And it's going to give your heart, your emotions, the ability to express itself. So it's simultaneously addressing both of those parts of you in a way that helps you to do something about the non-tangibles. Because if you had a piece of paper you no longer want and you go to throw it away, it's tangible, the experience is tangible, you know it's done. But when you start talking about letting go of thoughts and feelings, emotions, worries, fears, doubt, these are non-tangible. How do I know I did it? How do I know it's complete?
Right.
By including this physical activity as a tangible experience, words on a paper turns non-tangible thoughts, feelings, emotions, experiences into tangible things. So for your psyche, it's having a tangible release of the non-tangible. And so this is just going to give you breathing space. Once you release this, I would say do this 1 to 2 times a week. And under situations of distress where you're feeling really overwhelmed, because you're really, for lack of a better way of describing this, you're really backed up, constipated with it. Like you've been just holding it. We want you to be able to let it go, but we also don't want to do it in a way that becomes crippling. So I wouldn't recommend more than 1 to 2 times a week, and making sure that you're following up with the gratitude journal. Now, with the gratitude journal, you can express gratitude for anything and it will work. If you can express gratitude for things that have been released in a non-judgmental way, unbiased, just even if it's simply just thank you, that's gone, what that does is it's a more impactful energy. Does this make sense?
Yes. A more positive energy. Right.
The other thing is be patient with yourself, because I feel like you're trying to force yourself into some sort of change and you haven't quite been able to get yourself going on this project or this thing, this goal. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
And the reason why you haven't been able to get yourself there, because you're really good at being able to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and make yourself get somewhere. The reason why you're not able to do that right now is because you have been under such turmoil, emotional turmoil, that you don't know if you're coming and going. And literally your system is like, I will not be pushed 1 more inch, 1 more iota. I will not be forced into 1 more thing, not even from you. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
So it's more of if it take a back step, hands off of your goal for just a moment, just long enough to take a deep breath and get out of that force push energy, and instead view it from a place of, if I were able to create from my joy and happiness, how would that look? Then approach your goal. Totally different energy. And you're going to have way better, way faster results. Does that make sense?
I'm liking this so much, Misty.
Was this helpful?
It was helpful. It resonated on so many levels. I was going to say you have no idea, but I think you do have an idea.
Honest to goodness, when I talk to people, I get these, I don't know how to describe it. It comes as song lyrics. It comes as a clip from a movie where this situation was happening. And the reality is I could sit and tell you stuff that resonates for you, but at the end of the day, most of the time I have no clue.
Right.
She's really good at
wow.
acting like she has no clue.
Right.
Carol, I'm so glad you called in. Before we let you go, though, let's let everyone know about you a little bit. Carol's a host here on KGRA. Tell us a little bit about your show real quick.
Well, its title is Behind the Obsidian Curtain, right here on KGRA every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for a delicious hour. And, that's something that absolutely goes into my gratitude journal, without a doubt. It is one of my most fulfilling experiences to be able to talk with people in many fields, everything encompassed by what we call the paranormal. And it has just been probably the most fulfilling professional thing I've ever done.
Oh, I love that. And it's such a great show. I really highly recommend that everyone tunes in on Friday night.
Oh,
Definitely
thank you
good.
so
Thank you
much,
so
AJ.
much for
That's
calling
much
in.
appreciated. And of course, Bill Skywatcher is the reason that I'm here. And we go back many years to another station, another time. And I'm just, my Mr. Producer Man, I couldn't do it without him.
Absolutely. I concur. He's amazing.
Yes.
Thank you, dear. You have a beautiful night, okay?
Well, you too. And now I'm going to jump back into chat. Thank you, AJ, and thank you, Misty. This has been just most amazing. You reached me on many levels.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, dear.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to head right into our other caller who's been on hold this entire time, waiting patiently. Hello, Rebecca from South Carolina. Thank you for calling the show.
Hello. It's so nice to be on the show.
Well, I appreciate your patience waiting during this time. Do you have a question for Misty, or would you like her to give you a reading based on your energy right now?
I guess a little bit of both. My question is around seeing repeated number patterns. I feel like I'm getting little signs and signals of coincidences, and it seems like those things have really ramped up. And I guess I'm just kind of wondering, what is that signal or sign or energy that's trying to speak to me? That's what it feels like. So I guess that's where I'm at.
Okay. Hello, how are you doing, Rebecca?
I'm well, thank you.
So, do you know that you're an empath?
Yes, I have
We
heard
get
that.
so
yes.
many empaths calling the show, don't we?
Well, it's interesting if you think about the way that you said it, things ramping up, getting more signs. So there are empaths who are born on as an empath, born with that gift. There are other people who it's kind of turning on. But in either case, as the energy in the world has been ramping up and increasing, so has that been happening for gifts of an empath. And that's kind of what I feel that you're experiencing. Is that what it feels like for you?
Yeah, it does. It feels like a little tugging of a message. Mm-hmm.
With you, are you familiar with claircognizant, clairaudient, that kind of thing?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so clair is a French word that means clear. And it just kind of basically goes with the five senses with the addition of claircognizance, which is clear knowing. And that's a gift that I feel that you have very strongly, meaning you just seem to know things without a logical relationship to that content. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The other thing is people will speak. And when they're talking, you kind of get these flashes of images in your mind. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is somebody could walk up to you and they're smiling and on the surface they look happy, but you just get this impression of them being sad, they're being weighed down. Does this make sense?
Oh, that's 100%.
So in addition to that, the other thing that I'm feeling is like being tapped on the shoulder, and when I turn around, there's nobody there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The other thing is feeling like somebody said your name, but when you asked, nobody was speaking to you. Does this make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, what that is clairaudient. That's the hearing. And I think it's clairsentient when you feel things.
Sentient.
And so anyway, you just have several different gifts, but I feel the one running the show is your claircognizance, and that's your knowing. So the taps on the shoulder, and the reason why you keep seeing the repetitive signs and the numbers, so the kind of numerology. One resource that I absolutely love to use for looking up repetitive numbers is Sacred Angel Scribe.
Okay.
If you Google that, you'll find the website. I think it's a blog spot. But I trust the content. I am not a fear-based person, as in, oh, this number means you're cursed and these horrible things are happening.
Right.
It's pretty positive. All of the information, even this information expressing lessons, is spoken from a opportunity-based perspective. So I really like the content of that website to look up repetitive numbers. And it matters because they're symbols. We're constantly being spoken to through symbols from the spirit realm. From source, God, creator, whatever your dialogue is for that, it speaks in signs and symbols. And so the tap on the shoulder where like you physically and then feel like your name is trying to get your attention, to get you to engage with your gifts, because even though I feel that you're aware, I feel like it's still something that you haven't quite been willing to take action on. Would that be accurate?
That is so accurate.
Okay. So it's that resistance to an integral part of who you are that's been causing you some tripping experiences. So things where you've maybe been tripping or dropping things lately. Does this make sense? Running into things?
Yes.
Okay. So that's because you're being tapped on the shoulder and called to pay attention to inviting you to embrace this part of yourself that you've been denying. And on the path that you're on, I would caution that you're striving to invite big learning experiences to get you to face your fears. Does this make sense?
Yeah. Definitely.
So it's totally avoidable simply by being willing to start where you are, not be where you think you have to be willing to embrace your gifts, but to start where you are and find any bit of willingness that you have at this moment and be there, embrace that. That is enough to, like, the bumping into the door, the stubbing your toe, that stuff will dissipate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Now, with your gifts, what it feels like, the repetitive message that I feel is trust yourself. I feel like that's something that you haven't been doing very well lately. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. It does, absolutely.
Okay. I feel okay, so I'm gonna put this perspective to it. When you're in your head, I agree. It is very difficult to trust yourself because things are looking very scary. And when you're in your head, you choose learning over blessings. Does this make sense? Now, you have a very expansive heart, meaning you are more invested in how you can help other people than yourself. So when you're in your heart, trust yourself, because when you don't know the answer, as long as you trust your heart, the answer will come. The solution will provide itself. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I feel you're being called to do, is to trust yourself, to start where you are, and your gifts are leading you to help other people.
Oh, that's
and
great.
I think that's part of actually why you're resisting your gifts, is because, yes, you do like to help other people. You're very people oriented, but you feel drained by people. And that's simply because you're giving without allowing yourself to receive, trying to get validation from other people's gratitude. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, that's very.
And then waiting for other people to tell you how good you are. Tooting your own horn isn't about narcissism. It's about self-celebration and self-love. But you grew up with a narcissistic personality, so that makes it difficult for you to look at it that way. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Was this helpful?
It was really helpful. I really, really appreciate it. It was a gift.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for calling into the show. You have a beautiful evening.
Thank you. You both as well.
Another amazing reading. I learned so much during that one as well.
Good.
As always, you're so good at this game.
I love to play. I love to play with people.
Well, it's wonderful. You guys, we're going to take our top of the hour break. And when we get back, the last hour is commercial free. If you're wanting to get a reading, you're going to want to get in because there is a little wait. 85KGRA Live. That's 855-472-5483. We'll be right back.
Hi, folks. It's troubling times, and fear is pushing emotions, which in turn pushes health the wrong direction. Do you ever get an ache because life is uneasy? Try Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com. Life Change Tea works on your digestive tract, helping to move food through quicker and comfortably so your health is spot on. Life Change Tea may not help with world issues, but it will help with your digestive issues. A glass a day helps keep the intruders away. So, change your life today. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. If your health game is off, get on by ordering Life Change Tea. GetTheTea.com. And while you're on our site, look around at the great non-GMO organic supplements. And if you're a sales shopper, go to our specials page and see what's for you. I've been drinking the tea for 12 years, and I'm sure glad for its health benefits. Again, that's GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com. The tea that makes you go.
A birthday without her mom. An anniversary without her husband. Her wedding day without her dad. These are the days when military families feel it most of all. The loss of their soldier, their sailor, their airman, their Marine, their Coast Guardsman. Families never forget their loved ones lost to war or illness or suicide. Families never forget, and neither do we. We are TAPS, the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. We provide resources, support, and comfort to heal the hearts and meet the needs of grieving military families, all at no cost to them. Your generosity can make an enormous difference in the lives of the families of our fallen military heroes. Our military families need to know they are not alone and they are not forgotten. Show them your support at TAPS.org.
The Liberator Rocket Heater will heat your home for free. The highly efficient Liberator Rocket Heater has no moving parts. It's safe and strong, constructed of 1/4-inch steel. So like all things made in the USA, it's built to last. Uses any kind of wood, sticks, even scrap in its gravity-fed firebox. And it heats workshops, homes, garages, outbuildings, industrial areas, and barns. Watch the video of this blast furnace stove in action. Visit RocketHeater.com. That's RocketHeater.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRAradio.com.
Hello, everyone. You are listening to Soul Wanderings on KGRA Digital Broadcasting, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Hudson Valley, New York. Soul Wanderings can be found on all of your favorite listening platforms like iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all of them. And you can also find the show on soulwanderings.com. If you're enjoying the show, I encourage you to share with your pals. We have links there on soulwanderings.com that you can connect to all of my social media platforms where you can see who's going to be wandering with us next. Also, be sure to follow kgraradio.com. Tonight we are hanging out with our blessed friend, Misty Merck. She is offering gifted mini readings tonight. She receives her information spiritually and intuitively. She gets them as emotions, feelings, images, pictures, angels, thoughts, all different kinds of ways. And our phone lines are open. We have a couple of callers on hold, but if you want to get in before the end of the hour, call us at 85KGRA Live. That's 855-472-5483. And hopefully you'll get in to have a reading. Misty, are you ready for some more?
Yes.
Wonderful. We'll go ahead and begin. Hello, Erica from Utah. Thank you for calling the show.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful. Do you have a question for Misty, or would you like her to give you a reading with your energy right now?
Yeah, I really don't have any questions. So if she could give me just an energy reading, that'd be great.
Wonderful.
Hi, Erica. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good, thank you. You have such a very quiet, very soothing, very graceful soul. And you have a lot of like a mother hen gathering chicks too, like very nurturing, very, very nurturing. So you're a giver at your own detriment, meaning you really do a lot and take care of a lot of people and things. Does this make sense?
It does.
The other thing is, so in your, like you have a lot on your plate, like a lot of things to do, a lot of responsibilities. Does this make sense?
It does.
I'm gonna say, you're just like the average woman in your to-do list. You're at the bottom, and most of the time you don't make it there, so you just don't end up taking care of yourself. And so you're starting to feel very worn out, run down. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Self-care is at the last of the list for me.
Yeah. So it feels like there's a relationship that was weighing heavy on your heart at this time. Would that be accurate?
It is.
And so it feels like you're racking your brain trying to find, for lack of a better way, it feels like you're racking your brain trying to find the right thing that's going to help this person straighten out. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm going through a divorce.
Okay. So, as you're going through this process, I'm going to invite you to hold space for yourself and create an opportunity to take an opportunity to create closure with this experience and this energy so that as you move forward to bigger, better things. Does this make sense?
Yes.
So okay. While you have to make some hard choices, understand that at the end of the day, it is best for you to be mindful of your needs. And in essence, you can't make your decisions for everybody, as in making your choice so that it works out for everybody. It's not in your nature to be selfish, but I do want you to be self-thoughtful. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And so, in essence, you can't make your decision based off of the other person.
Right.
Whatever the choices that come before you, at the end of the day, it isn't selfish for you to say, what would be in my best interest? What would be for my highest good? Does this make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because you're not used to thinking this way. You're always about what can I do for other people? But right now, you're in a situation that requires a lot of self-care that, quite frankly, you're not used to giving yourself.
Right.
By the very nature of your experience, in order to walk through the experience and do so in a way that's going to serve you, it requires a great amount of self-thought and self-care. And that's not being selfish. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And because you don't control other people, being mindful of yourself is going to put you in the best position to have the best outcome possible. Because you can't control other people, but we do influence each other all the time. Does this make sense?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I'm feeling some very stubborn energy on the other side of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Does this make sense?
Yes.
And I'm feeling some very, I'm struggling with words, and it just feel like you've had a hard time expressing yourself through this. So be patient with me. When somebody is struggling with their own words, sometimes it makes it harder for me to put things in words. So I'm going to say this as best as I can. There feels like some petulance and some, oh gosh, what is this dang word? It's not, I want to say selfish, but that's not quite the word. Spiteful. There's some spiteful energy on the other side of this, in engaging with the other person. We'll say it that way. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And so one of the triggers that I feel, or one of the leverages that I feel has been used against you in the past, is to make you feel selfish for thinking of yourself. Would that be accurate?
Right. It is.
So that's what's being used against you right now, yes?
Yes.
And it's not the truth. Because
right, that is what I'm moving through.
You've been very selfless to the point that you've given away a lot of your hopes, dreams, and own desires to try and make someone else happy. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
So kind of what we're doing as you move forward is to reclaim those parts of yourself that you gave away trying to appease the other person, okay? But in a way that isn't about blaming or judging them, because that's still a low vibration energy, and we don't want that for you.
Right.
So the more you can hold your own space, hold your energy where you want it to be, the more able you're going to get what you want out of this and beyond. So the old way is to get triggered by the behaviors of the other person and let them make you feel guilty.
Mm-hmm.
It's just recognizing patterns of behavior, recognizing and being able to view things from an unbiased place of, I'm just not going to judge you and I'm not going to judge me. I'm going to see things as they are, and then from that place decide what I want to keep doing and what I want to do differently because I don't want those results anymore. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Because you are a very self-critical person and you don't need any more self-beat up. So if we can give you some different skills and tools, then we can help you start giving you some breathing room and help you navigate these experiences in a way that you can take the beautiful lessons and release the punitive ones. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because you've punished yourself enough. You didn't know what you didn't know until you knew it. Hindsight isn't a beating stick. It's designed to be a tool to help you walk up the mountainside, not keep you paralyzed on the side of the mountain, okay?
Right.
So one tool that I would encourage you to use is only love is spoken here. And when I say only spoken here, view your body as the house of your soul. And in your home, you only speak love to yourself. So whenever you see anything that is less than love, you don't yell at it. You don't beat yourself up for it. You just recognize, oh, there's a rat in the house. I don't want that here. And then redirect your attention to, I have a cat. Meaning, when you see those thoughts of, I should have known better, well, how should you have known better? Because you didn't know what you didn't know. So instead, go, I recognize my desire not to be in this situation. When those kinds of thoughts arise, that's all it is. It's a voice of, oh, I wish I weren't here. What's wrong with that? Nothing. That is an earnest. If there were a little kid having a bad experience, how could you judge them for wishing they weren't there? So don't judge you. Just go, I see my real desire not to be stuck here. And then redirect yourself to some form of self-love. Does this make sense?
100%.
The more you can engage with this tool, as in use this tool as though it were the way you breathe air. If you can use this tool as though you need this tool in order to get oxygen, you implement it that consistently, that repetitively in your life, it will create quick change. If you use the tool occasionally, it will create slow change. Does that make sense?
Right.
So when you first get up in the morning, right before going to bed at night, you tell yourself, you look in a mirror and say, I love you, I love you, I love you. Now what's going to happen? You're going to get real squirmy and real uncomfortable because this is brand new and your system is like, what do you mean you love me? This is the first I've heard of this.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a while for your system to trust what you say. And that's okay. You just go, that's all right. I'm going to keep coming back here. I have an appointment with you every day, twice a day now, minimum, so that you can start trusting me again. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it does.
The only reason why you're not in self-trust is because you had experiences that developed a habit so that you stopped trusting yourself. If you created that habit, you can restore yourself to your true nature of self-trust through new habits. Any habit is created through consistent repetition. That's it. That make sense?
Yes.
Does that sound simple and doable?
It does. It does. Like I said, I do put myself at the last of the list. Self-care, the word care, caring for myself, right, is not something I have known.
When you get up in the morning, you look at yourself in the mirror. When you go to bed, right before going to sleep, I love you, I love you, I love you. I have an appointment with you twice a day now. I'm going to be here until you trust me again. When you're falling asleep, hug yourself. Hug yourself until you fall asleep and just keep thinking, I love you, I love you, I love you. Whenever you catch yourself with less than loving thoughts, just witness it. Oh, yeah, I can see why I would have that. Jealousy. Think of how we have jealousy and we don't want to feel jealousy. All jealousy is a voice saying, I wish I had that.
Right.
What's wrong with that? Nothing. So just view whatever you view, the experience of whatever's going on inside of you that's less than love. View it from a place of what is the sweetheart message. And then go, oh, I can understand that. And then redirect yourself to what you want to be doing with yourself instead. Well, yes, I do want that for myself. And I am so grateful I have this now. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Rebuilding this relationship with yourself is going to be a huge catalyst if you use the tool. Was this helpful?
It was completely helpful and
spot
on. Like I had a transmission last night. Oh my goodness, you don't know how to care for yourself, and I'm very loving, right? And I can love others, implicitly, but I don't know how to care for myself.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, honey. Now is when you don't love yourself, you handicap your capacity to love others because you can't give what you don't have. Think of the people that are in your life that are healthy for you, that you, honest to goodness, soul deep love. Realize that at this moment, because you're lacking in your own self-love, you're giving them 10% of what you're capable of. How does that encourage you to want to grow your self-love?
Lord have mercy.
How much more rich does your love become for those people when you're loving yourself? How much more effective does your love for those people and how you're able to show up and give to them become when you're loving yourself?
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yes, it is. And so are you.
Thank you.
So good.
You're welcome.
So good. Erica, thank you so much for
meet you.
calling in. You have a beautiful night, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate you, ladies. Good night.
Good night.
Ta-da.
Another message that we all could use for ourselves.
Definitely. Mirrors.
Right. I love that. I always say when you come to visit us, listen to the messages because you'll get something from every single one. Every single one. And that tool, the practicing the I love you in front of the mirror is such a powerful tool.
There's another one.
Such a good one.
Is to look into your eyes.
Yes.
Directly into your eyes, like Louise Hay's mirror work.
Mm-hmm. That is the best.
Mm-hmm.
That helped me tremendously on my journey.
Yeah.
Such great work. We have another caller. Are you ready?
Yay.
Wonderful. Hello, Miranda. Thank you for calling into the show.
Hello.
Thank you for waiting so long. Do you have a question for Misty, or would you like her to give you a reading based on your energy today?
I just want to hear what she has to say. I want an energy reading.
Perfect. Those are the best kind.
Hi, Miranda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So are you aware that you're empathic, that you're an empath?
No.
Okay. So sometimes when you're in a room full of people, you find yourself feeling drained for no reason. Does this make sense? Like you just feel tired
Very
all of a
much,
sudden and you don't know why?
Yes, very much.
Sometimes you might be just fine and while you're among people, and then all of a sudden you start to feel anxious.
Yes.
So in essence, what you're experiencing is so the anxiety that you're starting to feel sometimes when you're around people is, so there's some empaths that are able to, we'll say, pick up on thoughts around them, maybe not necessarily hear thoughts verbatim, but feel the energy of them. And I feel very strongly that you do get impressions in your mind. Like sometimes you know what someone's going to say before they say it. Does that make sense?
All the time.
Somebody's thinking about you and then you call them, or you're thinking of them and they call you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Happens all the time.
So the anxiety is you're picking up on thoughts that you're interpreting as your own because you don't know, like you don't have boundaries. So it's like absorbing, for lack of a better way of describing it, it's like being in a room where somebody's smoking and there's no barrier. So you're breathing in that smoke too. Does this make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
So energetically speaking, thoughts, you're absorbing thoughts and energy of those thoughts that don't belong to you. And there are people that you're around that are dealing with some really very, very heavy energy, very, very heavy things. There's people who are dealing with, it feels like suicidal thoughts even. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And so when you don't know that it's not yours, it causes anxiety in you because it's like you start getting these thoughts that show up in your mind and you're like, I don't like that. I don't want that. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And you're like,
really,
why am I even thinking that? Where did that come from? And then you have those feelings of anxiety. It's because you're experiencing an energy and then you're like, I don't like this. And then you're resisting and feeling resentful for the experience and not understanding what's going on. Now, when you get drained, what's happening is the other thing is you're taking on the emotions of others. So like you're absorbing them like a sponge. Does this make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So I would definitely caution you to be very mindful of the content you allow into your space right now, since you don't have the boundaries of, one, knowing that you're an empath and understanding your gifts creates a natural set of boundaries. And then knowing how to use your gifts creates other boundaries. And right now you don't have any of that. And so what that's done is it's just left you like a sponge, and everywhere you go, you're just absorbing. And so then what tends to happen is, even though you're really social, what starts happening is you start isolating yourself and you don't know why. It's like, oh, I would love to spend time with you, or I'd love to spend time going out doing this. But you find yourself saying, no, that's okay. I'll do that later, because it's uncomfortable, the thought of going out and being around people. Does that make sense? Hello?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
So, and it's just because you're overwhelmed, because you've been having experiences that you didn't understand. And so it was, it was leaving you affected and impacted. And so, for me, knowledge is power, because the more you know, the more choices it brings to you. And the more choices you have, the freer you become. And right now you just haven't known a lot. And so it's really tied your hands in the kinds of choices that have been available to you. And that's been very constricting, because your nature is to be very happy, very lighthearted, very joyful, very social, to the point of being a social butterfly. Like, you're very eclectic and you just really love people. but you've been living like a recluse, and it's because you've just been in so much overwhelm to the point that you've been a little grouchy with people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it's just, you've just been overburdened, overwhelmed with a lot of things that you didn't even know was happening. And that's okay. You did the best you could with what you had. And now you know a little more, and that's going to start empowering you. So, one of the things I would definitely recommend is really dig in and learn what an empath is. What does being empathic mean? There's different gifts and talents. So when people, everybody has a level of intelligence, and that intelligence can be increased and decreased by choice. When somebody's born with a high level of intelligence, we call them a genius. Now, everybody is born with a level of emotional intelligence, and that emotional intelligence can be increased and decreased by choice. When somebody is born with a high level of emotional intelligence, they're called an empath. That's what you are. Okay. Does this make sense?
Okay. Yes.
And so empath is a term to describe the type of gifts and abilities that you have. Like I was saying earlier, the clairs is a French word for clear, and they follow the 5 senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. And then there's a 6th one called claircognizance, and that's the clear knowing. So I definitely feel you have clairaudience. That's the hearing aspect. Now, for me, occasionally I do hear like somebody call my name, but nobody was actually saying anything. The other way that can show up is to hear like somebody's talking to you when they aren't, without actually hearing it with your physical ear. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so that's something that I feel you have. The other one is now the emotions and feeling the emotions. That's a cornerstone of being an empath. So a book I would recommend is by Carol. It's spelled Karol, Carol K. Trueman. It is called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. The more you can begin to understand emotions, the more empowered you become as an empath. Another one is by Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. They both go into thoughts and emotions, but it's definitely really great tools to teach you to understand emotions. And the thing about emotions is it's energy and motion, and emotions are constantly shifting and changing really quickly. When we linger in an emotion, it's because we've chosen to be there. And so understanding that feeling emotions is a choice. How we feel them and how we shift out of them are choices. Now, this isn't just stuff happening to you. These are things you can do something about. Does this make sense?
Yes.
So I would definitely say the first place to start is to educate yourself about being an empath, because as you've seen, it's making life, to a degree, very miserable for you, because your nature is to be very, very kind-hearted, very social and engaging and loving. And right now you're very isolated and very disconnected and not being able to express yourself, what you feel in your heart, and you find yourself behaving in ways you don't really want to behave in. And it's all just, you're stuck in survival. You're stuck in fight or flight, trying to cope with your experiences. And we want to empower you so you can start choosing your experiences, move you from react to respond. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's going to come from educating yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was that helpful?
More than you can even imagine.
Okay. Yeah,
No,
it's not just your imagination. These things have been really going on.
I thought there was something
You're
wrong
not crazy.
with me. I thought,
it makes you feel like it too. When you first learn that you're an empath, you start putting the pieces together like, oh, so it wasn't just my imagination, or I'm not going crazy, or whatever that looks like. When I first found out I was an empath, I was a hot mess. Like, it was so confusing and all over the place.
And if you are local here to the area, Misty does have an empath class coming up. I would highly recommend you go to Vibes Now, VIBEZ now.com, and look at the class schedule. She has one coming up.
It's in February on the 5th
Oh,
or
is
the
that
6th.
the soonest one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not on there, but I know it's coming up. I highly recommend you go to that class.
And I do group
I'll
readings there. There's one, 2 in December.
Yep. The next one is on December 1st, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
December 1st, Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So hopefully that helps you, dear. Thank you for calling into the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a great night. Bye-bye.
You also. Thank you.
We have, I said this earlier, but we have a lot of empaths that call the show. And I know all of us are empathic. And like you said, some of us come in having that gift, being aware of that gift, or even just naturally having it and not being aware of it. Some of us develop that gift as we get older and don't understand why we're feeling all of these things. Like for me, I know I've always been an empath. I wasn't aware of exactly the title or the definition thereof until I was much older, after attracting, because empaths have this great ability to attract narcissists into their world. And I went through my life doing that for quite some time before I realized what was going on. I mean, that was just one of the many things. But I felt cursed, and I felt alone, and I felt confused, and I didn't understand what I was feeling or experiencing. And I literally wanted someone to lock me up because I felt like I was insane. And that sounds dramatic, but I really literally felt that way. And now, after meeting more empaths and hearing of their stories and how their experiences were before they were aware of managing or using or however they want with this ability, it comforted me in a lot of ways, but also like, oh, I'm sorry you went through that, but wow, now that I look at it and now I understand it, what a gift it is, and what a blessing to be able to be empathic to people, places, and things, because you can change that energy and not have it work against you, but work with you, for you, and for others.
Yeah, definitely. Growing up, I felt crazy as all get out, and I didn't want to be crazy as a kid. And so I just ignored it to the best of my ability, which is really hard when everything seemed as loud as it was. And I just never talked to anybody about it. I absorbed it and dealt with it and ignored it and pretended. Yeah, until it didn't work anymore, and still kept doing it anyway.
I feel like we could do an entire show on empath.
Oh, definitely.
You were sharing some information. I mean, you share little bits here and there about being an empath. But the books that you brought up were 2 books that out of several that literally changed my experience. Completely. Yep. And I actually keep them both on my nightstand because not only have I read them several times, but they're good reference books as well. Especially You Can Heal Your Life, because that's something you can use as a guidebook every single day if you wanted to.
Yeah, definitely.
What other tips would you recommend to someone who has newly discovered that they're empathic?
I can't emphasize the skill of only love is spoken here. I can't emphasize that. It's free. Did you know that? Self-love. It's 100% completely free and untaxable and unstealable, unlosable. The only thing that you can do is choose to let it go. But nobody can take it from you. And in the world that we're in at this particular moment, It can't be lost. It can't be damaged. It can't be stolen. You can simply choose to let it go, but it can't be taken from you, and it's completely free. And it is a tool that if you do it, I'm promising you, it will change your life.
Yeah.
Things will get better, even when things feel crazy as they feel right now. Even though we are in the most uncertain of certainties and the most certain uncertainties, it's, it's that tool of self-love because it gives confidence, it gives trust, it gives flexibility, it gives self-respect. All of those things build a foundation where you can then engage with those experiences and gifts from a place of peace, unbiased, non-judgmental perspective. And I just can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah.
The resources, I can't even tell you how many books I've read. I can't even tell you how many DVDs, how many classes, how many CDs, how many talks, how many lessons, how many teachings I have experienced, listened to. And, I have been mentored. Becky Rock, she was down in Utah County, I think. Kathy Truman. There's, oh gosh, what is her name? There's been so much content that trying to sit and list it all. At one point, I was keeping a list of to-reads on my website as resources. I've read spiritual books. I've read about Buddhism. I've, read the Bible. I've read, the New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. Boom, ton of light bulbs going off. And Carol K. Truman, Louise Hay, Betty J. Eddy and her near-death experiences. That's something I've watched shows on people who do mediumship because they're sharing messages and understanding, what their gifts look like. And that's something else is watch someone else with a gift and see what it looks like on them. It's going to be different from you. Not every, whatever name you would label these gifts, learn what they are and then start to understand what that looks like for you.
Right.
Because we're all a unique fingerprint of God. There's not one exactly alike. I mean, we have similarities, some more than others, but there's no exactness. So the way it shows up for you, it's going to be unique. Look at someone else. Yeah.
We're all unique.
Yeah. But, it's just look at someone else using their gifts and then ask questions, begin to recognize, oh, okay, I see this in that person and in that person. Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, Gabrielle.
So many amazing resources.
Right? A lot of them.
There really are.
Yeah, and a lot of them.
Do you still have that list on your website?
I don't remember if I still have it up there. I was just working on updating my website because Wix told me that the one that I was on was no longer going to be supported and I had to switch over to the new system. So,
oh goodness,
I've been working on Pages, which is,
yeah,
I am not as tech savvy as I would like to be, but I'm getting a little bit better. I as long as my husband doesn't have to get nagged, he's happy.
Well, we have another caller on the line. Repeat.
Yay.
We have a repeat caller on the line. Hello, Ronald. Thank you for calling into the show. Do you have a question for Misty, or would you like a general reading?
General reading would be fine. I just wanted to say hello and thank you for the wonderful show too. And every month that Misty is on, it's just an amazing show. And
thank you.
You really refocus my attention on what I need to learn. So I just wanted to say thanks for that. But go ahead and she can do a general reading if she wants. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hi, Ronald. How are you?
Hi, doing good. Thank you.
Since I've spoken with you before, I just ask, as I don't remember the things that I share, if I share something that I've shared in the past or something comes up for you again, just know that it's still pertinent in some way, okay?
Yes.
So, feels like things have shifted for you. It feels like, okay. So it feels as though I was planning on doing this, and all of a sudden things changed. So now the option to do that is gone, and I feel directed to go in a totally different direction. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Can you say that again?
Yes, I have. I don't know if you know, but well, I'll tell you. I do a radio show on another place, another station, and I have a number of different shows that come and go, and things get changed a lot sometimes. And it's interesting that you said that changes came up, and yeah, that's about right.
So I feel like when the changes came up, and you started feeling redirected,
yeah,
even though what you were going to do is no longer on the table, there feels like there's some component of it that can still be applicable as you move in this new direction. So, but I feel like you haven't necessarily thought of it. So in essence, I would just sit and say, take a pause before you move any further on acting on things, and just evaluate reevaluate to see if there's something from the I don't know, previous thing you were going to do, if there's some aspect that you still feel prompted to include as you redirect yourself. Does this make sense?
Yes, I think so. I would just re-clarify what my original plan was and make sure that it's a solid plan, I think, is what you're trying to get at here.
Say that one more time.
You're saying make it a clarification as for my solid idea or plan.
It's more so as you're making the plan to move forward in this new direction. Just evaluate if something from what you were going to do before, for any components that are still applicable as you're moving forward in this other direction.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I got you. Yep, I got it. Yeah.
So it's just before you completely shift gears into a different thing, just evaluate for components that can move with you. Not everything, because this is a complete, shifting, that this isn't really, the whole thing isn't applicable anymore, but there's still some components that are still applicable or doable in some way is what it feels like. So I would just sit and evaluate things from a perspective of, okay, I've decided this is where I feel to go. Is there anything that I was going to do that can go along with me now?
I like that. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense, and thank you for that. And
You're welcome.
Just really made my night and made the whole. I wait for you to come back each month. So Thank you for being a regular on here, and thank you for
being
AJ
so gracious.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in tonight, Ron. We appreciate the support. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. It's really neat when we have repeat callers because everyone's situation changes. And it's fun to see where they were or to hear about where they were and where they are now, how far they've come.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It really is a gift to have you here. I love it. Each month it's so cool. Like I get to see you here, but I also get to see you at Vibes a few times a month when we cross paths there, which is really wonderful. Like we said earlier, if you guys are in the Ogden, Utah area, Misty's here Tuesday, December 1st at 6 p.m. And that empath class will be coming up in the new year. But you also have several other opportunities. And you can check those
December
out.
December 14th and, of course, January.
And of course, you're here on the show every month, which we love.
Yeah.
We love. So we still have time. Let me see. We don't have any other callers on the air. If you guys are interested in getting a quick reading, we still have time for one more caller. If you want to call 85-KGRA Live, that's 855-472-5483. But if not, we're still here. We're still going to visit and talk about whatever comes up. In fact, I have a question from the chat room. How do you focus on one person when you have a room full of different energies?
Well, it's just like when you're listening to somebody talk in a room full of people that are talking.
Mm-hmm. You fine tune it, right?
Well, if you want to pay attention to what that person's saying, then you focus your sensory system on what they're saying. Now, depending on the loudness of the room, that might require more effort or more strain. But when there's a room full of people, have you ever seen the movie For the Love of the Game with Kevin Costner?
I don't believe so.
It's about baseball, and he's deciding to retire. But he played a pitcher, and he would go to the mound, and he would say to himself, "Clear the mechanism." And then all of a sudden, all of the sounds of the stadium would dissipate, and he was like standing on the field in silence. So it's not that I walk in to do readings and go, "Clear the mechanism," although who knows, maybe I should try that. But it's as I start to focus on a person, it's like all of the other sounds quiet, or the energy quiets, and that person becomes the center of the room, the center of attention, the one on the stage, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Definitely. Everything you say makes sense to me, although it's not always what I want to hear. Let's just be honest about that. I'm referring to the reading before the show in particular. It's still heavy on my heart. That's one thing, though, that I really admire about you is you don't really sugarcoat. You're just like, I need to share this with you because it's for your highest good. So I'm just going to say it. And I appreciate that. Although I don't always love it in the moment, I appreciate it.
Well, I have to say, I save that for a special few. Mostly, what it is our relationship gives me the ability, because you trust me and love me, gives me the ability to be a little more blunt.
Yeah.
But when I
can handle it.
Well, that's exactly it.
I prefer it, in all honesty.
Yes. But that at the end of the day, when I get content and when I engage with people, I learned early on, as I felt prompted to start doing this and sharing messages with people, I learned early on, it didn't serve anybody for me to talk to them from a place they were not at.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it doesn't serve a baby that's just on breast milk for somebody to shove a steak in its mouth. You know, so it doesn't serve me and it doesn't serve you for me to show up someplace you don't exist. And so I've learned that if I pay attention, if I'm doing my due diligence and doing my job right, I am paying attention to meet you where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then stretch a little.
Mm-hmm.
And so from that place, I rarely have an instance where somebody isn't open and receptive to what I share. When I meet somebody where they are, and I work really hard to view them, whatever it is that is shown to me, from a place of, you did everything you could to get yourself here.
Mm-hmm.
I can't judge any of that. I can only hold respect for the fact that you've gotten yourself here. And if I come from that energy and I can help you view yourself from that energy, anytime I've asked anybody to stretch, they have always done it. Because I'm not blaming, I'm not shaming, I'm not judging, I'm not guilting.
Mm-hmm.
I am respecting and I am encouraging that mutual respect on both from me and from you for yourself. You know, I'm a firm believer. This is the world I live in. Everybody I come across is a unique expression of the light and love of God. And I am getting the honor and the privilege and the opportunity to experience that. Every time my gifts show up so that I can see people and I can experience them, I'm experiencing heaven on earth.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to do what I do. I can't wait for this show. I mean, it's a long time waiting a whole month. You know?
Yes,
It's
I feel the same way.
And so
I love our time together
because it's an opportunity to experience heaven on earth.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to experience miracles and magic and mystery and awe and wonder. That's the world I live in when I engage with my gifts. Did I always feel this way? No, I was in terror. I was in panic because I didn't understand. I was scared by it. It didn't make sense. I didn't want to be crazy. And it's like being a little kid who in the dark thinks that balled up piece of clothing in the corner is a monster trying to get them. Mm-hmm. Or the shadow beside their bed is trying to climb out to get them. Because of the limited perspective that child is viewing the experience, they see monsters, they see things that want to hurt them. It's the same thing with our gifts. It's the same thing with our life. When we have that limited perspective, that's the filter that we're viewing things through. So the more we can learn, the more empowered we become, the more we understand it's just a balled up t-shirt or it's just a shadow on the wall. Although sometimes as an empath, it's not always just a shadow, but
right.
But it's the concept is true for whether you're an empath or not. How you view your life can bring you a lot of pain or it can bring you a lot of joy. You're going through the experiences anyway. How do you want to define it? What story do you want to tell yourself to make sense about it? That's in your control. That's your power.
That's what I love learning. We aren't raised to believe that to be true. Ever. Right? I mean, I think more people are becoming aware of that and raising their children in that way. But like us, our generation or older, like we didn't know this. We didn't know we had that power inside of us.
Mm-mm.
And so learning this as an adult is just, one, it's mind-blowing. But two, it's life-altering.
Definitely.
Realizing that we have the ability to change the outcome of our experience. just by our thoughts alone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what? It's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
It is so cool.
Definitely. I mean, it's just, it's, I know what it feels like to live life suffering and being a victim.
Mm-hmm.
I am not standing where I am from this place of love yourself and write the story of how your life is because it's in your power to do so. I didn't get there just because I landed on it or
Right.
it landed on me.
Right.
It was, I went through things. I had some really difficult experiences, a lot of pain, and I suffered, and I just reached a point where I was tired enough, done enough, and hungry enough to keep pushing myself through all kinds of things so that I could get someplace different.
Yeah. And we do that. Most of us get to that point where we're tired of the pain and we want something new, and so we reach for it. We're eager to have different experiences, so we want to learn different things.
Definitely.
And that's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a catalyst for change.
Such a great place to be. Misty, before we close tonight, how can our listeners get in touch with you if they were interested in a reading over phone or our video chat or however else you do that?
I do phone and I do Zoom readings, and my website is mistyroseshealing.com. My email is mistyroseshealing@gmail.com. Be able to get a hold of me either way.
And Misty is spelled Misty. Yes. For those of you who are wondering, seeing how there are several readings or
the ways of spelling. Yeah,
that's the right way though, right?
Yeah, MistyrRosseshealing.
Wonderful. Thank you again for spending time with us. If you guys are interested and you didn't get to call in, Misty will be joining us again next month, I believe on December 16th.
Sounds correct.
For our live show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
for
because
more
of the holidays.
Yeah, the holidays. Woo! So, woo, this year.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes, it is next week.
Day to be grateful.
Next week, I do have a brand new show coming out. It will not be live. It's a pre-record, but it's brand new. I'll still be hanging out in the chat room. So make sure you guys hang out with me. For more information on the show, make sure you visit soulwanderings.com as well as kgraradio.com. And thanks for being here with us tonight. We really super appreciate it. And have a beautiful evening. Good night, Wanderers.